In this video, I want to talk about the gravity and I would like to justify it. Imagine there is a falling object here. And I want to release it from this position. Therefore, it will fall. At the beginning, the start point, t value is 0. Therefore, look at this figure here. This is the first position. Imagine t is 0 and v0 is 0. I want to drop it. Okay. What is gravity? The gravity or G value is 9.81. Meter per second square. And actually, it's an acceleration. So recall the definition of acceleration. If you remember, acceleration equal to change in velocity divided by time. Okay. If your acceleration or gravity is 9.81 meter per second square, it means for each time interval, change in velocity should be 9.81 meter per second. Remember this definition here, and you can apply it here. So if at the beginning t is 0, what happens to t equal to 1? Let's check it. Imagine it's here at t equal to 1. So what happens for t value? T is, of course, it is 1 second. And v1, what is this number? Can you guess? If gravity is 9.81, you can find this velocity here. What does it mean? According to the gravity value, the velocity between the difference of velocity between these two for this time interval here, the change in velocity should be 9.81. Therefore, difference is 9.81 meter per second, because we are in first time interval. And you should talk about the difference of velocity. If difference of velocity for this time interval is 9.81, what is this number here? Although we know that the first velocity is 0. Definitely velocity V1 should be 9.81 meter per second, because difference is 9.81. Difference between V1 and V0 is 9.81. And this is the concept of acceleration. This is physical justification of gravity. Okay, let's continue. Imagine next time imagine your falling object is here. If this is t equal to 2 seconds, what is V2 here? What do you think? Okay, recall the concept of acceleration. Changing velocity per unit time. I mean, for unit time or 1 second, for example, between 1 second to 2 seconds, this is unit time or second time interval. Difference of velocity should be 9.81. Therefore, if the difference between here and here is 9.81, what is the velocity here? Although V1 is 9.81 meter per second. What do you think? Of course, it is 19.62. Because difference between V2 and V1 is 9.81. If first velocity V1 is 9.81, definitely V2 should be 19.62. What happens for next time interval? Okay, let's continue. Imagine it's here. Okay, this is t equal to 3 seconds. So what happens to velocity here for this time interval? I mean V3. What do you think? Again, you can recall the acceleration definition. The change in velocity for this time interval here, it should be 9.81 meter per second. If this difference is 9.81, what is V3 here? What do you think? Definitely it is 19.62 plus 9.81. It is 29.43. Meter per second. And you can continue like that. For example, for 4 time interval, again, apply the difference of velocity. You know, difference of velocity should be 9.81. Therefore, if you have first velocity, just add 9.81 to the first velocity, and you can find the second velocity for that time interval. And you can continue, and you can apply this approach for other time intervals. Exactly the same, but of course you have different numbers. But the concept of acceleration is important, and you can apply it for each time interval. This is the physical justification of gravity. according to this figure, you will observe that you have increasing velocity. At first, V0 is 0. There is no initial velocity. But after 1 second, you have V1. That's 9.81 meter per second. After 2 seconds, your velocity is 19.62 meter per second. At t equal to 3, you have this velocity, 29.43. Obviously, you have increasing velocity. This is the justification of G value. Okay. Okay, remember the equations of free fall. We have 3 equations. The first one is V is GT plus V0. Okay. I want to talk about the graph. If you remember from mathematics, we have this equation. This is the equation of line, y equal to mx plus b. And you can compare it with this equation in physics. If you compare these correlations, you can figure out that V0 here, it is your intercept. Therefore, initial velocity is the intercept of velocity equation on the graph. It is similar to B in mathematics. T, time, it is always independent variable. What about G? If you compare it with the mathematical equation, it is coefficient of independent variable or a slope. Therefore, this is a slope. In other words, a slope of the V equation on the graph is gravity. And V is dependent variable. Okay. Consequently, here, if I want to plot it on the coordinate, I can plot it like this. And that's a line. This is V vertical axis, velocity, and T is horizontal axis, which is independent variable. And V equation is a line. You can plot it. Here. And obviously here, this one, at the beginning, the vertical distance of the intersection between the line and the velocity axis with respect to origin, this is intercept. That's V0. And according to this graph, you can figure out that it is ascending graph. And of course, you have increasing velocity. What is the slope of this line? Definitely, it is gravity. That's gravity. Now, the second equation, it is height equation. Look at this one. H equal to half gt squared plus v0t. What kind of geometry is it? If you remember, I have told you regarding this equation, if you have t square, you don't have line. This is a curve called parabola. Consequently, you can plot it. The horizontal axis is t. Vertical axis is h, or height. Therefore, this is h, this is t, and it's a curve called parabola. Thank you.